Greetings, everyone. We meet once again to discuss the issue of the Zimbabwe exemption permit holders. We recall that in December 2021 and in January 2022, the Director General of the Department of Home Affairs wrote a letter to EP explaining the decision of the South African Cabinet, which was taken on the 24th of 2021, on why not to renew the ZEP. And in that same statement by Cabinet, holders of ZEP were argued or asked to move to other visas provided for under the Immigration Act. So the letter by the Director General in December 2021 and in January 2022 was to explain that decision and emphasized that holders of ZEP needed to move to other visas. In the last few days, the Director General has once again written to holders of ZEP, reminding them of the deadline of the 31st of December 2022 and asking them to move to other visas, to use this opportunity of moving to other visas. That is to say, to submit the applications as per the directive of the Cabinet. In the letter which we saw, the Director General does say that a few people have applied to move to other visas. Also, they have received also waiver applications to that. If what has been brought to our attention, though, is that a number of the Zimbabwean educators have had their visas, their applications for a waiver rejected. Comrade Kathy Matondo, you are saying my volume is not sound. I'm not very sure because on my side, the system appears to be okay. So that all Zimbabweans that are holders of ZEP should use this opportunity before the 31st, 31st December 2022 deadline. What we know, took a decision, but it's up to the South African Cabinet to decide on what they think should be done, is that the majority of ZEP holders are people of low skill, would not be able to move to other visas. That is the reality. That holders of ZEP are people of low skill. We have explained that those that qualify started to move from these visas in 2014 to move to mainstream visas. So those that remained are either domestic workers, people of low skill and so forth, who are struggling to move. Well, they are also professionals, but whose skills are not listed under the critical skills. So that has been the challenge. So, and the waiver application, again, because the companies should prove that there are no South Africans who could do the job that a ZEP holder is doing. That also becomes a bit of a challenge to many because a low-skill job can be done by South Africans. So this is why there is so much low turnout in terms of the application to move to other visas. Then there's an issue of one Telda Moyo and some organization that operates from Braamfontein, who have been receiving lots of questions about them to say, do we know them? What is our view about them? What we know is that any person who's a holder of ZEP who needs to move to another visa, the requirements are in the website of the VFS. There are not any other requirements outside the VFS. Or if you can't get the requirements in the VFS website, your next destination is the Home Affairs website. Outside the two, there are not any other requirements. So for instance, if you work in a restaurant, as an example, and you do not qualify, that is to say, as a waiter, you are not listed under critical skills, and you cannot be granted a waiver to continue working as a waiter in a restaurant because a South African can do so. So going to pay 549 rands to some because the requirements are the same. So those in Braamfontein should be assisting people who have difficulty in completing the forms online. We know there are people that have challenges in completing the application forms online or have challenges in accessing internet. So they will assist you to do that. But outside that, basically, we don't think there's anything that they can do. Ourselves, there's nothing we can do ourselves because it's clear you are a teacher and you are not teaching sciences under critical skills, which of course your qualifications are not under critical skills, even if you have a degree in history, which you obtained at the University of Zimbabwe, any of the universities in Zimbabwe, and you work as an it is there because your qualifications are not under critical skills. The reason why you then apply for a waiver is that the school, which we have explained before, that you work in or you work for, maybe is in a remote area and they are running short of English or history teachers because the area is remote. It is then the school that assists you to apply for a waiver to say, while your qualifications are not listed under critical skills, but the school is backing to get an English or a history teacher to teach in their school because it is in a remote area. The Department of Labor might then consider to grant you that waiver. But outside that, is difficult. So this is why we always said that an individual must first and foremost, because this individual knows their qualifications and the work that they do. So it's a simple visiting the website of VFS to check if your own qualifications are listed. That's the first thing you do. We also know that, for instance, diesel mechanics, in the past skills list, they were listed, the artisans, diesel mechanics. But in the new list of critical skills, which was then published in first week of February 2022, if I'm not mistaken, they were removed. So they are no longer considered to be under critical skills. It is those that would then require to apply for a waiver. If the company is struggling to get a South African who can work as a diesel mechanic, right? So that's the reason why you have to apply for a waiver. So it's not that you simple apply for a waiver, you work Gochisanyama as an ZEP holder, and then you apply for a waiver, or you work as a domestic worker. You say, I've been working for these employers in Bryanston for 10 years, therefore grant me a waiver. It's not possible. As far as we understand, it is not possible. So to then say we must confirm those that are in Braamfontein who are saying people should apply, they will be assisted, they will pay a consultation fee of 549 rands or something. We are not part of those people. So they are doing their thing and we have no relation with them. So we don't know whether they are genuine, whether they are fake, the kind of consultation. But what we elected to do ourselves is to say, instead of us turning our, is that the information is readily available. If you have a cell phone, you are on WhatsApp, it means you also have access to internet. Open the website and check if your own skills are listed. The other thing, of course, which we explained, is that are required, which of course we have explained, that you need a Zimbabwe police clearance, you need to the bank statement from your partner, proof that you are married, the marriage certificate. If you are married traditionally, you have also to prove the payment of lobolo and so forth to prove. And we said if you are getting married to a South African or someone that is on PR in South Africa, you need to get a non-marriage certificate in Zimbabwe. You come to South Africa, you go to the consulate in Johannesburg or consulate in Cape Town. They will give you a letter that you take to the Home Affairs when you are going to apply for your marriage. So we thought that in terms of the requirements, everything is black and white, is clear. There is really nothing that require us to be your consultants, to an extent that we say you need to pay 500 something to consult us and so forth, because we thought it's straightforward. What we only said is that in the event that you qualify to apply for a relative visa or whatever visa, and you then need assistance, maybe you have a problem, you can then ask a friend, maybe give them 100 rand or 200 rand if you can't use internet, you can't do the application online. But the submission must be done by yourself. It's very important. And Comrade Beauty Mutaha says, I need guidance on how to structure my application. Firstly, Comrade Beauty, you need to first check if you do qualify. If you qualify, it's very simple. You simply go to the website of the VFS. The form is there, it guides you. Just like you did in 2017 or in 2014, when you completed the form online, it will then give you a bank account if you are going to pay cash in a bank. Once you pay, it's after a day or 2 or 3, they then give you the appointment letter to go and submit your documents. Or if you are going to swipe at the VFS offices, you also indicate. I think it's 2,800 something, running to about 3,000 to submit your application. The money is paid at a Standard Bank of VFS. Comrades Fiso Songo, yeah, i-stress be sikhona i-stress kunzima. Comrade Vivian, yazi azisazi ke la. We said, Comrade Vivian, that if you have low skill, you don't qualify. Remember, we once spoke about the white paper on international migration, which had made proposals. It was gazetted in 2017. Its main aim was to manage migration. You know, the minister always talks about the border management, which they are working on right now. And they are also the document, the white paper on international migration is gazetted in 2017. Remember, we participated in that process. Was that the reality is that within the SADC region, you have people of low skill who come to work within the SADC region. As part of free movement of the people within the region, it made various proposals on how to deal with people of low skill. Remember, in the olden days, those that are from Bedbridge, you will get a special permit to work on farms, seasonal workers. If maybe it's time for oranges, to harvest oranges, will be given a visa to come and work on farms. And maybe you last for about 2-3 months. After that, you go back. If it's about the grapes again, you come and work. It used to be like that. So the white paper on international migration is gazetted into, in 2017, also spoke to such issues to say, how do you manage migration within the SADC region, which unfortunately is a down south. People do not migrate to the north, they migrate down to South Africa. So we also know that there is a review of the Immigration Act. There are amendments that have been done. So we don't know what these amendments are going to be. Once the Immigration Act is amended, we hope that maybe end of June, July, they will be out. Also remember that the Minister of Labor and Employment spoke about, he actually released a draft labor migration policy, which is out there for public comment. We do not know what the final version will be. Remember, I had said it was going to take about 3 months. I've not been counting days, so I'm not sure where they are in terms of that. And you expect that maybe around end of June, July, it will be out, so that it's going to guide us in the last leg of the last 4 or so months to the deadline. Comrade Vivian, you also saying, Mina Zwi bazangi Dudula Shem, as long as they are taken back to my country. Okay, PM you're saying go rough. Comrade Marupi Itapileng, you're saying so stressing. We don't know what to do. That's very true. Because like I'm saying that the majority who qualified to move to other visas started moving in 2014, and those that remained was ZEP holders. The majority of them do not qualify. Comrade Miso Ngwenya says, will I qualify if I get married to a South African now? I am not sure in terms of the process, but you don't marry for the purposes of getting permits. Otherwise, you are going to be disappointed. But if you have been in a relationship, you can also consider a relative visa. You apply under the person who's your partner. A partner's visa is also provided for, as long as you can prove, both of you can prove that you are in a relationship. You do not necessarily need a spouse visa, but you can do a partner's visa. I'm sure in our various media platforms, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, comrades can also assist you there. Comrades Zimiso Ngwenya. Sibonile Chuma, morning. Comrade Jenny Suyama, morning. Comrade Kid Mob, when you are saying go rough, but why these people changed everything now? On my understanding, those payments were not given to qualified and people here who have critical skills. Look, indeed, people that received these permits at the time in 2010, they could not qualify for permits that were provided, mainstream visas or permits. But since then, people have upgraded their qualifications. This is why other people are moving to other visas, because they've had an opportunity to study, to upgrade their qualifications. Unfortunately, others could not do so. Comrade Nobuhle Lupahla are saying, Tina, domestic workers, we still do not qualifying. Just started watching now in Temba, I missed. Well, I can't read the rest. But of course, Comrade Nobuhle Lupahla was saying it is difficult for domestic workers unless there is an intervention at this stage under the current Immigration Act. There's no provision that will allow a domestic worker to be successful on the basis that they are domestic workers, unless if you are a domestic worker but you are married to a South African and you are not directly applying for a work permit or a work visa as a domestic worker, but you're applying for a partner's visa or a sponsored permit, which will then allow you to remain legal in the Republic. But on the basis that you work as a domestic worker, you have been working for 10 years, it is not possible. But like I'm saying, there is an amendment to the Immigration Act. We do not know what is going to happen. So the Director General, in writing to holders of ZEP, they are realizing that only a few are applying, because we said this, that the majority will not qualify. So it then up to South African government to say, if you don't qualify, they will not intervene. Come 31st of December 2022, if you can't return to Zimbabwe, you are going to be assisted. It's up to the South African government. There's nothing much that can be done around that. It is them who can also review to say, we've had these people for the last 10 years as part of the South African economy. let's intervene. But if they decide not to intervene, again, that's their call. Comrade Batsirai Munganize says, let's hope Department of Home Affairs will change mind. 90%, 95% of ZEP holders do not qualify for mainstream visas. Let's wait and see. We do not think there's going to be a change of heart. What we think will happen will be guided by what after they've done the amendments, because we do not know what the amendments will mean. Remember, unemployment in South Africa is also at 35% or so. Young people in South Africa are not working. And there is a general belief out there that if you withdraw ZEP, you don't grant permits to people of low skill, you create jobs for South Africans. I'm some of you saw the video of the president of Inkatha Freedom Party, who was also speaking to this issue, that you don't need to grant visas to people of low skill who are migrants. Those are jobs that should be reserved for South Africans. So that's the current political discourse. So we remember we're going to 24 elections. So migration becomes key in winning votes. So a party that is seen to be anti-migrants stands a better chance of winning votes, and a party that is seen to be embracing migrants is believed to be losing votes or will lose votes in 2024. So this is why we are having these challenges. And then Comrade Abraham Zomunya says, what are the organizations representing Zimbabweans in SA doing to help us who do not qualify for conventional permits? There's nothing we can do, Comrade Abraham, because we simply follow what the South African cabinet or government says. If the South African government says this is the Immigration Act, it can only allow migrants in this sector, in these sectors of the economy, who have these qualifications to work in South Africa. There's nothing that can be done. Ours is to try to rebuild our own economy in Zimbabwe. It's a reality that we have to face. We have a 2023 election coming. It's an opportunity also to say, what kind of government are we going to elect in 2023? And starting now, how many of us who are in the diaspora are registered to vote in an election? How many of us will sacrifice their own resources to go register and go and cast the vote in 2023? And how many of us will be prepared to defend the vote if the election is stolen? So these are the the conversation that we also must have. Comrade Tabani Dube says, the problem bafuna abantu abalama class 1 kulawo ama-critical skills. If ule class 2, 3 and 4 but you don't qualify, that is another challenge we face. That is very true, Comrade Tabani Dube. And Comrade Ndaba Sibanda says, mina ngilinde ukuthi ngibone bayasincisha serious ama-permit. Comrade Ndaba, sambe siyefuya inkukhu, siyelima imbambayila, siyefuya inkomo, silime i-onion siyethengisa koBulawayo, because that's what it says, and that's what it means. Comrade Vivian says, thank you, Mr. Mabena. I know very well that as a domestic worker, there are some challenges we are facing. Just take that 3,000 rands and do something, please. Noted. Comrade, the daughter of Zion says, just to take you back a bit, what arrangement has been made for people with mortgages and car installments? Remember, daughter of Zion, we once did a video. We said, if you have unmovable property, say you have a house in South Africa, you got it under ZEP. So you've got two options. Either you put your house to the market, on the market, sell it, or get someone to rent it who will continue to pay the bond if you were funded by a financial institution. a foreigner is allowed to own property. If someone that works in Zimbabwe, you can come if you've got your cash, you buy a house in South Africa. This is what politicians always do. They steal our gold there, they come and buy in something. So there's no crime. And again, if you have a vehicle still pre-owned, you have not completed paying for it either, try to find money between now and the deadline to pay off your vehicle, and then we deal with the challenge of you taking back your vehicle to Zimbabwe, or just inform your bank that you are unable to continue paying because you will not be here in 2023. Comrade Sheila Mhlanga says, but they should have given us to curb crime. Next year there will be more illegals. We can't promise we will go all home. I can't comment. The reason why, Comrade Sheila Mhlanga, you received a letter from the Department of Home Affairs is that they've got your details. So if by 31st of December 2022, you are unable to move and you cannot travel on your own to Zimbabwe, they will certainly pay you a visit and assist you to cross Limpopo back. So we cannot be using that. Comrade Gilbert M., can't you do another live on labor certificate, comrade? Break that requirement down for people to understand. I believe that's where they logged everything. Noted, we'll certainly research on that and do so, comrade. Comrade Obed Nkomo says, hi there, just started to watch. We got the letters and the umbuzo ut. If you don't have critical skills, ukhohlwe yini, and start to rate yourself as an illegal immigrant or a new hopes like back home. Comrade Obed Nkomo, we said is not only critical skills. Those that are on critical skills, they've already applied because they qualify. But there are general visas that you can apply for. You also need to apply for a waiver. Like we said, that if, say, your company cannot get a South African who can do the job that you are doing, or if you're applying for a general visa under a relative, or under your partner, you can go on and apply. But certainly, we don't think that you will be illegal. What we know and the trust is that you will abide by the decision of the South African cabinet. And if we do not qualify, we return back to Zimbabwe. So we should not use the question of illegality as some kind of a bait to say, if you don't give us, we'll remain illegal. So give us to avoid being illegal. We should not get into that conversation. What we encourage people is that if you do not qualify, it's not the end of the world. Siyabuyela ekhaya siyalima amatamati izimfoka nkomo. Bothiwe Sibanda, okay. Sakhile masocha. I'm not sure. Maybe my network is a bit problematic. I'm actually drawing to conclusion. I've got a meeting that I need to attend to now. Comrade Nothando Ncube, you'll be the last. Ngicela ukubuza uma ulumntwana lo muntu we-South Africa uyayithola yini i-visa umntwana le passport ayayisebenzisa ngaleya ngeyalapha. What happens is, if you have a child with a South African and the child is below 17, but you are no longer together, you cannot apply to remain in South Africa under a child. If you have the custody of a child, we're advised by the Department of Home Affairs that you need to take your child to Zimbabwe. The child can later on, when they are above 17, apply for a South African citizenship on the basis that one of their parents is South African, but you cannot yourself as a parent want to remain in the Republic on the basis that you have a 5-year-old child with a South African, but you can only apply for a relative visa if you are still with the father or the mother of the child. Otherwise, comrades, thank you so much. Comrades Stella Moyo, we will get back to you on the UIF. Last time we said you can only apply for such once your contract has been terminated. Remember, we said we are consulting other trade unions also to assist us. So we will certainly get back to you on that. Comrades, thank you so much. We took about 30 minutes. We thought we were just going to take 10 minutes. My apologies again. I know that this video somewhere is breaking because of network challenges. Otherwise, have a great day. Goodbye.